think you had 150 people last year.
Yeah, I think it was 148 people. Right, and then the event has grown threefold this year. Yeah. We did over $1 million of sales with, you know, a room of 50 people. You don't have to pack your rooms to do hundreds of thousands of dollars at events and serve people on the highest level. Give a ton of content, as you can see, and still have people want to move forward with you. You know, they just love what you gave so much that they can see wanting to build it with you over time.
Great.
So, kind of like with Tim, you know, Michelle works with big companies, like Tim's out there changing the world. I know, how many of you are doing events? I want to ask you a few questions. Can I do some research on the spot?
Go for it.
This is not quite as scientific as Michelle's method, but how many of you are currently doing events, your own? Oh, wow, okay. How many of you are wanting to add events in your future? Wow, okay.
A lot.
How many of you have high-end either mastermind or mentorship group programs going right now of your own? Great. And how many of you would like to add that to your mix? Yeah. Wow. Looks like I'm going to have to take the leverage progression plan a little further. Yes. Awesome. Well, that's great. That's really great to know. I mean, that's incredible. I actually had no idea there were so many of you wanting to do your own events, doing your own events, and then also wanting to pull together, you know, high-end mastermind and mentorship group. I knew there was a demand because I've been being asked for it all over the place, but I didn't realize how big it was.
Perfect.
Guess I better get back on my research train.
She's going to hire me again. I'm so lucky. Okay, so was there anything else?
Well, I asked Michelle, a lot like with Tim, for those of you that are planning to do events, for those of you that do want to use this method in your own business, if she could put something together, but not just something like anything. And it's tough because she's obviously running 2 businesses, multi-million-dollar, you know, female business owners supporting the family. It's hard to give one-on-one time, but honestly, I feel like one of the key components after I learned her, you know, work was to have that call to analyze the results. So, are you guys interested to see how you can get your hands on doing pretty much the same thing I did? All right,
Great.
Bring it out.
Can we bring that?
These are the summary sheets.
Take this?
What? Sure. Watch out,
Where
there's
did
all
it
this
go?
stuff. They'll bring one up to us.
Oh,
here, you got one too?
Yeah.
You too?
All right, so Lisa...
Wait until they get it in their hands. We'll show them what we got.
She's coaching me from the stage.
Don't worry, it happened to John yesterday and Tim Kelly the day before. It's I think the part of the value of this workshop is really to...
Maybe this is the pause.
This is the pause. You don't speak, you guys, when your summary sheets are being handed out because no one can hear you. You want to make sure everybody gets it, and then you show them what you got.
Perfect. So the reason in particular this case study is really relevant is because it's about an event that you know and love. And I know you love it because you're sitting at it right now. So we're going to take you...
This will be very revealing.
Yes, and Lisa's very generous to share all of this with all of us. Okay, so let's back up. So understanding your customers. In order to serve them at the deepest level, you really have to understand them, right? You got to know what is it that they need, what do they want, you know, what is that big dream they have for themselves that you can help them with? What are the things that they're afraid of? And what's their relationship to you? Right? Are they just starting out? Have they ever purchased something from you before? How well do they know you? What do they think of you? Because all of those things impact how well you're going to be able to serve them, or whether, in fact, at all you'll be able to serve them. So you've got to understand your customers. And about a year ago, Lisa contacted me. We were in this mastermind together, right? And we've been talking about research, and I'm like, research.
And actually, I had this experience where I had done some business or made connections with almost everybody in the group, remember? Right. And for Michelle and I just hadn't had our moment yet. And I kept feeling so pulled and drawn to her, but there wasn't nothing had connected yet on a business spark. I didn't really see how what she was doing was relating to what I was doing until lunch came one day.
Yes, and I think it is difficult, right? Because when we started, it's this idea that most entrepreneurs aren't out there doing research in any formal way. And it's simply because it may be a new concept or something that you don't quite know how to do. So Lisa and I connected over lunch, and she had this big event that she was planning, and she had a real goal and a dream for it, but some questions too, because last year was the very first time that you did Big Mission.
It was my first solo event, and it was actually in the room next door, and I invite you all so that you get it, to walk by at some point. It looks so small to me now, but at the time that, when I secured that room and we filled that room, I could, it was such a huge risk, and I didn't know if it would happen, and I was just trusting and trusting and trusting. So, yeah, it was just, the event was actually only weeks away when we talked. Like,
right.
We already...
A couple weeks before, 3 or 4 weeks, 3 weeks?
We had, the room pretty well filled. Yeah, and I was starting to think about what's the mastermind going to be, what's going to be in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So imagine what a blessing it was for me to have Lisa, give me the opportunity to share with her what my gift is, right? I mean, it was huge.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was just such an amazing gift to me to have the chance to share this with you.
Yeah.
So here she is, right? She's got this audience coming, and she's thinking about what's going to happen at the event, how is it all going to interplay, and what is the mastermind going to be like?
Right. I mean, I knew I wanted to work with a dedicated group of people, and I knew I wanted to really structure it so that, I could get my hands in their business at different levels, depending on how much support they wanted, that they would get support from each other. There were things I knew, but I didn't know exactly who was coming. I mean, I hadn't been doing the events on my own. I didn't know who I had attracted. Like, we could kind of tell from the names there was a lot of women, but, I didn't know all about all these different Janes and what their desires were and what they most wanted from me and why they were coming, right? And I didn't even know that I needed to know that. But when I went to start to put together what would the program be, I realized I had a lot of missing information. And this is where Michelle actually stepped in and showed me, we could actually survey the people that are coming. And we could structure it in a way so that you won't have any of that mystery. You'll know exactly who's coming. You'll know exactly what they want. You'll know exactly how to speak it to them. Mm-hmm. And we also ran it through the Jane profile. Mm-hmm. So I found out what kind of Janes were coming, what they most needed, and what they were looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was the goal, right? I really wanted to help Lisa make this as spectacular an event as she could. And here's the wonderful thing about entrepreneurs. You have such great instincts already, right? It is the direct that you talk about, and the asking, what is it that you need? But this is asking in a different way to really help you gain clarity from a business perspective, that maybe it's just a different and fresh way of looking at it. So we worked together so that I could understand what Lisa's objectives were for the event and what she saw. And then we developed a series of questions that we took out and interviewed everyone who had signed up to attend Big Mission last year.
We did it through a survey. So, Michelle showed us what we needed. We provided a survey. It went out, and we got a pretty great response. Do you remember what it was, or do you have the numbers?
I think it was around 100. I don't have the response
Yeah,
rate
I mean, it was
with me,
over half.
Very high.
Over half of the people coming replied. And then we sent it out again. She had techniques that she taught me on how to get a higher response. So she showed me some things to do. We sent it out again. I think we even had maybe a little incentive, an article or something for the people that replied. So then we got our response rate up even higher. And I still didn't really realize what was coming my way as far as information that was going to help me when I put the program together and offered the program. I honestly had no idea what to expect. Yeah.
So at this point, anytime I sit down with one of my corporate clients, I tell them, you now have to take off your shoes, right? And you have to put on someone else's shoes. So what I want you to do here, you ready? Take off your shoes. Get in Lisa's fabulous shoes. And imagine her a year ago envisioning looking out at you. Are you with me? Right? So we're now in Lisa's shoes. And then after we do this research together, I have the opportunity to sit down with Lisa and share with her what it is that we learned that was going to help her with Big Mission. And we knew it was going to be a spectacular event anyway. This is the way, the icing on the cake, to really help gain that clarity of your customers. So before you even walk in the room, you know, this is who I'm serving.
So this is where I've been telling you for days. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about event profit secrets. And I just want to take a minute because we've been getting questions. People are already registering and they don't know what it is. I think you should know what it is. I appreciate your confidence. I have that much confidence in this one too. But I have been getting calls from the biggest names across the globe in the event industry asking how we do it. How are we filling up? How are we having this kind of conversion? How do we attract the caliber of people that are paying and coming and sitting next to you? And I realize now, because I've had 4 $1 million plus events, this one is actually officially a multi-million-dollar event. Yeah, that have served people at such a high level, and the transformation keeps going on. And now we've added being able to raise, well, I'll tell you in a few minutes. That's what I got distracted by.
Oh, now I know.
Incredible funds to make a difference in the world. So I want to show you how, and I don't want to show everybody how, right? This is something that it's taken me, 6 years of just teaching women to understand men and everything. I led in a tank in a children's museum once. I have led events literally in a steel tank to 20 women in a children's museum in New York. Has anyone been there? So, I mean, I've been doing events like from people's living room to, rooms larger than this. And it's always been events that provide value and convert sales. I've been studying this for, I guess you could say, 10 years now, and prior to that, I spent hours and hours and hours in rooms and transformational workshops and led introductions and enrolled people into events there. I have supported the biggest names. I want to show you what I've learned and how we do it. And finally, I can see the system, my own unique branded system. We've got enough times of doing it under my belt that I know what works. I had my opportunity to have one where I missed a lot of opportunity a few months ago, provided great value, but missed opportunity on what was possible for taking people forward. And it was really the best thing that could have happened to me leading into Event Profit Secrets. So it's scheduled in February. Is it the 24th and 25th, Peggy? Is that right? It's February 24th and 25th. It's a 2-day event. It's exclusive. It is only my Sassies plus 100. Okay? When the tickets are gone, they're gone. We will not be packing extra people in the room. It's being held at a very, well, we haven't secured it yet, so I won't, it's in San Diego at a very beautiful location that I have my eye on. And if not, we'll find another beautiful location. It's not hard to do here. It's going to be a high-end event. Lunches, dinners, you come, you will be served the whole time. And really what you're going to be there to do is craft your event, the transformation that it provides, the head to toe, how it's laid out. I have an amazing formula for how we structure this to keep it flowing, how to know who to invite to speak and not, what it is that you're looking for with that, and really all of that leading to you having your own version of what a highly invested mentorship or mastermind program would look like. You can use this with 20-person events, 12-person events, 1,000-person events, right? Last year, when we had our panel in the room next door, we had a woman who had done a little bit of consulting with me around this, who had, I think, 28 people in her event and did $60,000.
Wow.
This is a very easy to justify investment if you're looking to add events or high-ticket mastermind or mentorship groups.